Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I am so excited about this video because I'm going to be updating my No Pan Left Behind series. I'm focusing on all of my single shadows and I have been having so much fun with this project. So I'm going to go through the shadows that are rolling out. If I have eye looks for them, I'll put them up. I didn't take pictures of every shadow that I used and every look I made, but if I have one, I will share it. And the exciting part is at the end where I get to roll in new single shadows to try and use in the next month. So before getting into the single powder shadows, let's maybe start with any liquid or potted shadows. Starting with the shadow I'm wearing today, actually. So this is actually from Sydney Grace, the color that's on my lid. And this is one of the liquid shadows in the shade Warm Glow. And it had actually been a really long time since I had worn one of these, and I was really happy with how it turned out and how easy it was to use. Sometimes I can be a little intimidated by these because they are really pigmented, and I always get way too much out of the little squeezy tube. I always end up putting it on the back of my hand, which, oh, I still have some on the back of my hand. I put it there, I get a little bit on my finger, put it on my lid, and then quick use a brush to blend it out because these do set down and they stay. I also really like the texture of it. If you can see, it's super shiny, but it's not emphasizing texture on my lid. It's really thin, and I had forgotten that about this formula. So anyway, so this shade is rolling out. This was, again, the shade Warm Glow. Also rolling out my little potted shadow from L'Oreal. These are classic, and I own the shade Amber Rush, which I just adore. This shade. I was worried that L'Oreal was going to take these away just because they've been out for so long, but I saw they're still available on Amazon, and I have seen them in store at like CVS's and things. So grateful these are still around. I love wearing this shade. I also used Phytosurgence Oxidized Olive. This is a very kind of grungy brown with a little bit of green to it. So it's not a true green. It's brown with like the tiniest tinge of green. I'm not into grunge like I used to be. For a while I was really drawn to grunge, but I find that I'm not always pleased with how those grungy colors can look on me. Sometimes they can look just kind of murky and just not good on my skin tone, I feel. This one I can pull off as long as I keep it sheer, and the Phytosurgence shadows wear a long time, so I was pleased to wear this. I hadn't worn it in a super long time. And now moving on to powder shadows that I finished. This is the bigger palette. I keep the singles that I'm trying to use, and once I use them, I put them in this smaller palette. So I actually used a lot of these shadows last month. I was really happy with that. I have to mention this shade from the Kaja Orange Blossom Trio. This is the third shade, and often when I'm talking about that trio, I am raving about the second shade, but holy smokes, this shade should not be underestimated. It is the most beautiful sparkly brown. It is stunning. I was so happy with my look the day that I wore this, and it's reminded me that I need to pull this out more often. Absolutely gorgeous. I also used Sydney Grace Apricot, Chocolate Rose from Glam Shop, Pink Storm from Glam Shop, Egyptian Queen from, not Sydney Grace, Makeup Geek. That's one of the oldest shadows in my collection. I was really like checking that one to see how good it was. Beautiful texture still. Oh my goodness, it's like a beautiful satin shadow. I have a depotted shade from Nomad here. This is the shade Henna. It was nice to have a matte to use as well. And also a couple of shadows from Give Me Glow. This is Pink Champagne. Absolutely gorgeous, really easy everyday shade to wear. And then I also used my Franken shadow from Give Me Glow. So this has several different shades in it that were all shattered, including part of Pink Champagne ended up in this shadow as well, but all the shades that got put into this shadow were pink. So this is just a very sparkly pink shadow, and I did reach for it and it was very beautiful. So that leaves me with 6 shadows that I have not used yet. I consider that a really good month considering that I'm also trying to reach for my palettes. So I think that if I hadn't been reaching for my palettes, I easily could have used these, but I'm not trying to put too much pressure on myself. I'm just trying to enjoy my collection. So I'm very pleased that there were only 6 that I didn't get to last month, but that means that we get to roll for a whole bunch of new shadows to fill up this palette. So as I've stated in the past, I'm not necessarily looking for specific numbers or a specific number to pull each month. I just want to fill up this palette. I say that because each shadow brand has different sizes for their eyeshadows, so I'll never know how many will fit in here depending on what gets rolled in. All right, so I'm going to screen record the rolling process here. So I have the numbers 1 through 162. Let's generate our first number. I get number 104. which is Ooh, that's another Depotted Kaja shade. That is so awesome. That's from my Toasted Caramel trio. Awesome. So excited about that. So this is the second shade from that trio. So beautiful, so sparkly. Oh, yes, excellent. All right, generate again. 87. That is a Sydney Gray shade, and that is the shade Dream Maker. That one, I'm not sure what shade that is. I'll have to look around, see what shade that is. Wonder if it's purple. Wow, I literally cannot find it. Wow, I was about to give up there. I almost thought I decluttered it because I could not find it. I finally found it. So this is kind of a light pink shadow. Obviously, I've used it in a project. It looks like I used it a lot for an inner corner highlight or something like that. Beautiful light pink. That should be easy to reach for. Let's generate another number. 134. Ooh, I'm happy to roll this in. So this is a Sephora shadow. I got this because Amanda Z was talking about how nice the formula is, and she was right. This is a gorgeous, creamy formula. One of those formulas where you can't really tell if it's cream or just a really nice pressed shadow. At the moment, I'm leaning towards the fact that it might be a cream, but maybe not. I might be wrong. This is a gorgeous, rich shadow. And it's typical for me with a shade like this. I tend to wear it super sheared out, and it looks super creamy and beautiful on the lids. All right, let's keep going. Number 94. That is another Sydney Gray shade, and this is the shade Emerald Eyes, which, as you can imagine, is a green. This will be a nice shadow to wear rolling into spring here. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful shadow. I'll probably wear that on my outer corner or as a liner. Next number is number 51. That's a Maybelline color tattoo. Excellent. That's High Roller, which this shade is very, very similar, and I'm talking almost exactly the same as Charlotte Tilbury Oyster Pearl or Tom Ford Platinum. Formula is completely different. This is more of a hard cream, whereas those other two shadows are very creamy, like moussey. But if you're looking for that particular shade on a budget, that's what High Roller looks like. Beautiful. Okay, next up, shade number 11. That's a Makeup Geek shadow, and that's the shade Prom Night. Yeah, this is very similar to the shade I just used called Egyptian Queen. It's just not quite as deep, and I obviously had this in a project where I was trying to hit pan. I will definitely try and use this one before the weather warms up. Gorgeous. All right, we still have lots of room in the palette, so let's keep on going. Number 95. Is Rainforest from Sydney Grace, which is, I believe, another green. Ooh, and it's a matte, a very dark green matte. Holy smokes. Wow. This is definitely pushing me outside my comfort zone, but that will be gorgeous. Okay, 161. That's a Give Me Glow shadow. So that's the shade Peach Glaze. That is what this one looks like. We're running out of room in the back of my hand. Let's swatch more here. Oh, so pretty. You know, I love light peachy shades like this. Oh, that's gonna be a delight. Okay, so far the palette is looking like this. Let's roll for some more. 94. Is another green shadow from Sydney Grace. This is the shade Emerald Eyes. Wait, didn't I just roll this in? Yeah, I did. Moving on here. 131. So again, another Sydney Grace shadow, but this is the shade Hot Stuff. This is a beautiful brown, kind of a warm brown. Beautiful. 17. I think that's probably a Makeup Geek shadow. Yep, the shade Had Me at Yellow. Oh, this is a really nice matte. All right, so here's Had Me at Yellow. This is from when Makeup Geek went to their square pans. This will honestly be kind of a nice one to wear with those greens, maybe. It's kind of a mustardy shade. Very pretty. All right, depending on what we roll in, we could fit maybe 2 more in here. So let's go again. 50. Oh my gosh, we have another green shadow from Sydney Grace. This is amazing. We're getting in a nice little quad. I think, or trio of green shadows. This is gonna be amazing. It's perfect for like an inner corner highlight. It has a super light base, but it shifts green. So that's Green Mist. Okay, let's try for one more shadow. 47. Okay, 47 is Blondie from Sydney Grace, which is one of my favorites. It's just a really nice, easy to wear pink. One of those pinks that's just not too pink, you know? So it's a type of shade I wear a lot, so I'm happy to roll that in. And I think that it is full. Awesome, I'm really, really pleased, honestly, with this little quad right there. I should be able to make some fun green looks, especially using this kind of yellow mustardy matte. That will be super fun. And I'm very happy that I did manage to roll in a couple of cream shadows. Always good to get use out of these. All right, that's gonna be it from me, guys. You made it to the end of the video, which means you get to hear about my tea of the day. Today I gave in and I'm letting myself drink a matcha latte. I've been trying not to drink these so often, just, you know, cut down on the calories a little bit, but today I let myself have one. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again very soon in the next one. Bye, guys.